Before I start this section, I want to review what we did yesterday. And you don't have to write it down. It's more of like, let's quiz yourself and how well you understood this. We drew a lopsided T, and that T is so important to understand that there's a left and right side, because if you can understand that, and it seems so simple. But next chapter, we're going to learn how left and right is going to mean debit and credit. And that's like the driving force behind everything we do here. The basic accounting equation, Bradley, that plus sign's for you. I'm going to kind of tease you about that because you didn't call me out on it yesterday. That's the basic accounting equation. What we own equals what we owe plus our worth. A lot of times this is called residual what? So in other words, what's left? I think a better accounting equation would be what we own minus what we owe equals what's left over, but that's shallow is the accounting equation as we know it. What are some things we own? Whether we owe money on them or not, what's some things we own, a typical business? Cash money. Okay, I'm going to just say equipment. Starts with S. Thank you. Later, you're going to learn we own inventory. You know, going back to Inherit, our new fabulous boutique shop, Fabulousness, downtown Morris, they have a lot of inventory. And they've even expanded since they've kind of rebranded. They own all that inventory that eventually will generate cash. Okay. What's an asset that's kind of hard to touch? Accounts receivable. Talk more about that. A customer, so ARs are customers who we allow to charge. But what do we own? What's the ownability piece there? The rights to eventually get cash. I mean, when I say physically touch, like if Josh owes me money, yeah, I could go like touch him. Okay, I won't. Okay. But it's just that conceptual, like we're going to eventually generate cash from this. One that we didn't talk about yesterday, it's another one you can't touch. It's called prepaid insurance. You are all ripping around in a car, okay? You all, I'm assuming, all have the capability to drive, whether it's your own car or your parents' car. What your parents have likely done is purchased a 1 year or a 6 month car insurance policy on you and your car. So if you or the people in your car or your car has issues, there's insurance, kind of like a bubble around that. You don't call your insurance agent after you get in the accident and say, hey, could I get some car insurance? No, you better have it on the front end that's going to wrap around. You know, I'll use flood insurance as an example. If you're in a floodplain, or these folks who are unfortunately dealing with a hurricane right now in the Carolinas, now's not the time to go take out an insurance policy on your property. You have better, hence the name, prepaid for that, and you own that bubble that's protecting you. And then when it's time to do another one, you buy more of an asset, or what's called prepaid insurance. What was the keyword yesterday under the liabilities that you found out? Payables. In other words, kind of like AR, you owe typically a vendor money or a bank. So accounts payable is usually a short-term one that you're going to turn around and pay right away. Notes payable ends up being more of like a loan on a car or on that building or equipment. Does it always have to be money though that's owed? Give me my Vikings example from yesterday. That entertainment, tickets to the Vikings game, tickets to Beyonce, okay? Could be a service. Sometimes I'll go have dental work done and pay my whole bill on the front end, and I'll have to go back, and so then they owe me that service of finishing that dental work. Okay, it's a good one. And then worth is kind of what's left over, but we know there's a plus minus duo and another plus minus duo there that make it go up, down, up, down. One is if the owner invests, but what else can the owner do? Withdraw, and that's called drawings. So they can invest money, they can invest stuff, they can withdraw money, withdraw stuff. That has to do with the owner's equity statement, and we'll learn about that when we get to it, whether it's tomorrow or Monday. Then there's other stuff that affect owner's equity. What are they? What's the plus over here? Revenue, so we're going to sell stuff. And what else? Expenses, and that has to do with the income statement. Some businesses are very revenue generating, transaction. Like now today, again, we'll use Inherit. They're open Thursday, Friday, Saturdays. They're going to sell clothes today. Are they going to sell clothes Monday? Not their storefront, but they actually are primarily an online business. They just treated us to a beautiful store. Okay, so their bread and butter is revenue coming in from selling inventory. Do they have a lot of equipment probably? They might have a pallet mover or a little beep beep thing that drives around and moves stuff, but I mean they're not Riley Brothers with a fleet of blue vehicles and blue equipment. Does that make sense? They're not going to have a ton of big stuff, lots of little inventory. So that is yesterday's recap. This is the basic accounting equation. When you do the plus minus, do you guys remember what that was called? Expanded. So if you were going, I'm still kind of fuzzy, Mrs. Mars, today what we do when we start putting numbers in real situations to this, I think it's going to start to click. Click. Today what we're going to do, I want you to write the word journalize at the top of that supplemental handout. And also, this is very much the R of the IRC. We're going to be recording stuff. What's another word for that? Recording. Remember the question, is accounting? Yes, bookkeeping, thank you. Is bookkeeping and accounting the same thing? Bookkeeping is one component of the big accounting spectrum. So we're going to journalize transactions today, and that is very much the R of the IRC, which Ben mentioned is bookkeeping. So just to pop ahead here, this is what I gave you. Do you see how transaction 1 is going to go on line 1? Then we'll do transaction 2, so you're going to work your way down this sheet. Okay? And always, we're going to stop to see if ALLO equals each other. ALLO is in check. Okay? What students in the past have liked when I give you a printed one, because then if I make notes on here and write stuff, they can make the same notes. So I hope that's helpful. Just a quick little vocab before we get going. A transaction, again, is that deciding the economic events, and then actually, so we take our I to identify what is an economic event or not, and then we begin to record them. And the act or the art of recording them is called a journal entry or journalizing transactions. It might be internal, but it also might be external. So it might be impacting inside our business or outside. Not everything that happens has a transaction. Like if we interview that person, that's not necessarily a transaction, but when we pay them, yes, then we need to record that. You will also find that, again, relating to this accounting equation, so ALLO, it's called, transactions are dual effects. So in other words, there's always two things, two or more accounts impacted. So dual effect simply means two or more accounts something will happen to. will happen. Something will happen to those. So again, here's some events, and then that's asking, should we record or not? When we buy a computer, should we record that? Would that be a transaction? Yeah. We're gaining an asset. What are we gaining? A computer, but what are we probably using? What's going to go down also? Money, cash, okay? How about, oh, I got a little ahead of myself. Discuss a guided trip with a customer. No, we're not going to journalize anything like that. How about pay rent? What's going to happen to assets? Are they going to go up or down if we hand someone money? Down. And then rent expense is going to make the owner go down a little bit. But you know what? We need a business, a place of business to do business in, so we better pay rent. Okay, here we go. Pretty excited. Transaction 1. Ray Neal, so he's our guy. He decides he's going to go open up a computer programming service, which he names SoftBite. So this guy would be an entrepreneur. On September 1st, he invests $15,000 cash into the business. So Ray Neal over here, like, hi, I'm this guy. I'm going to take money out of my pocket, and I'm going to give it to my new company called SoftBite. So dual effect accounting says there better be at least 2 different accounts impacted here. So what are some key words here? Cash, thank you. Invests, okay. So now I think, all right, accounting equation, here I come. I'm going to draw a big T, but mine's going to go away because it's slide after slide. So do this, and I know it seems super obvious, but draw a big T all the way across. Where's the vertical part of the T going? At the equal sign. And ALO always needs to be in check. So now I see the assets umbrella, and there's cash, AR, supplies, and equipment. Those are accounts within assets. So I want you to put accounts. The official accounting name is accounts. How many accounts do we have under liabilities? 1. How many accounts do we have under owner's equity? 4, but you're going to find out there's even more than that. I used to make a classroom T account. I literally hung umbrellas from the ceiling. So I had my assets over here, and then my liabilities and owner's equity here, and then under the umbrellas, I'd hang all the accounts that could hang there. They kept falling down, and then they fell on me once, and I said, I'm done with this. I'm done with them. I still have them in my office, but I use this idea of umbrellas and then what falls under each umbrella. Okay, so we've got our 2. What's our dollar amount? $15,000. Is cash going to be a plus or minus 15,000? And owner's capital goes up. That is the account where investments happen. Does 15,000 equal 15,000? It checks out. Can we go on to the next one? Pretty easy so far. It's oftentimes the first transaction you'll see when a business forms. It's someone's got to invest money in it or stuff. Stop me if you need anything. And am I still connected? Okay. Okay, so we can assume Ray is still involved here. Ray Neal is purchasing equipment for cash. I hate how that's worded, and hate's a strong word. Instead of the word for, change that to using. I like that better. Purchase of equipment using cash. Dual effect accounting. What's one of our accounts? Equipment. Circle that. What other account is going to be impacted here? Cash. What's our dollar amount? $7,000. Okay. Unlike this one, where there's 1 under assets and one on the other side, what umbrella is exclusively going to be impacted here? Assets, because we are gaining equipment, but what are we using to buy it? Cash. So you're going to see cash go down by 7,000 and equipment go up. I want to show you something with just a couple simple math operators a minute. Notice when we cross the big divide, do you see a plus? And then if we go on the other side, it can be a plus. See that? When we cross the big vertical T. But when we're on one side of the T, it has to be a minus and a plus. See that? Because if we would have put plus 7,000 and plus 7,000, because then it would have been 15 plus 7 equals 15. No, that doesn't work because every single time the accounting equation has to equal. So when you're under one umbrella like we are here, or on one side of the big T or not, it's got to be a plus and a minus. Can you think of another time that assets would be going up in one respect and down in another? This is kind of high level thinking here. We haven't done it yet. Think of another time. Bradley's going to give it a shot. Yes. So if people paid some of their bill, AR would go down and now we're getting cash. Always go back to if you can get half of the transaction, you're probably good. We'll find a spot for the other part. All right, on to our third transaction. SoftBite, so that's the company we are dealing with, purchases for $1,600 from Acme Supply, computer paper, and other supplies expected to last several months. What are we getting here? But how are we paying for it? We are charging it. Good. Nowhere in there does it say the word payable. Nowhere in there does it say liabilities. But you got to ask yourself, are we using cash to do this? No, we must be charging it. So I'm just going to circle Acme. We owe them. And what do you think is the account when we owe somebody? Accounts payable. Why is it not accounts receivable? Is Acme our customer? No, they are one of our vendors. So AP. What's going to go up? Oh, and what's our number? 1,600. What's going to happen under the asset umbrella? Where are we going to see a plus? Under supplies. Can we handle another plus? Yes, under liabilities. But the reason it can be a plus and a plus is because we've crossed that vertical line. We've gone to the other side of the accounting equation. I always think of liabilities as a bad thing. Like, oh, we owe someone money. And so a plus to liabilities is now we owe someone more money. And negative seems kind of bad, right? Like, oh, negative. Well, eventually, a negative under liabilities is good because that means we're paying our bill. Number 4, SoftBite receives cash, $1,200, from customers for programming services it provided. Now, this is a tricky one. Got cash. Cash is the easy one, so let's circle cash. $1,200. Who's to say they owed us, though? It doesn't say there. It didn't say that these customers had an outstanding bill, necessarily. Revenue. You got it. Revenue. So we're getting cash. Cash is going up, but revenue is going up. What can I answer on that one? Transaction 5. Here we go. SoftBite receives a bill for $250. A bill to me says somebody owes. We just got to figure out, is it us or someone else? The word bill to me says owe. $250 from the Daily News for advertising. But we're going to postpone the payment until a later date. So do we owe or does someone owe us? We owe. Now when we owe someone, it's a liability. The liability hasn't even happened yet. This is a little bit of a tricky one. Is cash going to go up or down? Trick question. We haven't paid yet. Advertising is an expense. Very good. Nothing's happening under assets because we haven't paid these people yet. Rather, liabilities is going up and expenses is making our owner's worth go down. I forget if we're going to see this, but we might eventually pay our bill. Read on the transactions. Do we eventually pay our bill to the Daily News? Okay, so then we're going to see this kind of finish out. Why can we get by with a plus and a minus? It's on the same side. Bradley, do you have a question? I get these PowerPoints from the textbook company. I alter them. Did you find a mistake? Okay. It is weird. I've never noticed that in my many years of teaching this class. Oh, no, there's one right. Oh, the first one of the column. Okay. Typically, to answer that, I guess I've never noticed that. Typically, in accounting, the dollar sign will appear on the first number, and then everything in that column follows that dollar sign. So that's why I guess it is that way. I just have never noticed that. No, I do not make these. I tweak them. All right, transaction 6. SoftBite provides $3,500 of programming services to their customers. The company receives $1,500 from the customers, and then it bills out the rest on account. So we did some work. We earned some money. Did they pay all of their money they owed to us, though? And you see this a lot. So not only is this a dual effect, this is actually a triple. Like there's 3 accounts impacted here. Let's circle them. I see cash. I see the word bill, which to me says owe. And if we provided programming services, we earn some revenue. So if we did the work and our customers are going to get a bill, is that AR or AP? Do we owe them or do they owe us? They owe us, so this owing is to AR. What's going to happen under the asset umbrella? Are we getting some cash? Wait a minute, Mrs. Mars, you said if the stuff was on one side of the big T, then it has to be a plus and minus, but no. The 2 pluses offset that plus on the other side. It's the plus and minus when it's exclusively on one side of the T, but they gave us some cash, plus they owe, and that total equals the revenue. So you could say 1,500 plus 2,000 equals 3,500. And that's why you see the plus, plus, plus. A plus going up in AR. Are we taking a chance here? We are. But it's our job, it's the AR department's job, the accounts receivable department's job to get that money recovered for us. 7. 7 must be long. Look at this. Look, there's many lines. Do you think we're going to have more than 2 accounts impacted here? Yeah. SoftBite pays the following expenses using cash. There's one of them. And it says expenses. We've got store rent, we've got salaries, we've got utilities. Cash is going to be plus or minus. And we've got boom, boom. Now, I would rather see this as one. I'm surprised the book did it this way, like individually. I would rather just see cash go down by $1,500, $1,600, $1,700. So instead of putting those individually there, is that the right amount? Yeah, okay. I'd rather just see cash minus 17 and then those 3. Later you're going to learn that's a cash credit and 3 expense debits. Can't wait to teach you that. Number 8. Okay, good. We're paying our bill. So the Daily News, we owed them $250, but now we're paying them in cash. So the players here in this duel, if we owed someone, that's an AP kind of bill. So cash is going to go down, but so is accounts payable. Here is when we have the AP. Here is when we are paying the AP. Number 9. Ooh. SoftBite received $600 in cash. There's one of the players. From customers who had been billed from transaction 6. It's good, but why isn't it great? It's not the whole bill. Our accounts receivable department better step up their game. Okay, I see 2 assets happening here and nothing else. What are we going to see with operators? We got some cash and the AR went down slightly. Could have been better. The last one, a drawing. Okay, good. Number 10, Ray Neal withdraws $1,300 in cash from the business for his personal use. Can he do that? Yeah, he's the owner. He can't do it by just taking it out of the till and running away. He needs to journalize it because then we would have a violation of ethics. He can do whatever he wants. He's the owner as long as he journalizes it. So 1, we're going to see cash go down. The word withdraws tells me drawing is going to make his business overall worth go down. Is his personal worth going up? Yeah, his business worth is going down. So you see cash go down and you see owner's drawing go down as an effect on owner's equity. At the bottom, and you can just steal my numbers, you don't have to sit and number crunch all of that. You would look at each column exclusively. We started with $1,500 cash coming in, then it was minus 7, plus 12, plus 15, minus 6, minus 9, minus 2. At the end, we have $8,050 in cash. Just steal that number, write it down. If we look at the accounts receivable, we started with allowing customers to charge $2,000, but then it was minus 6 when they paid partial. The customer paid partial. And we have supplies, that's easy one, and equipment, that's an easy one. So under the asset umbrella, 8,050, 1,400, 1,600, and 7,000 equal the 18,050. Now that's the left side of the giant accounting equation. We'd have to go do the same thing over here, and this is where we hope they equal. You will have to do a problem like this on the test. Did it click? Like, that makes sense. Put some numbers and some pluses and minuses in places. Man, this is starting to feel like accounting. I, R, and T, what did you just do? Record, which is called bookkeeping. What's our time here? We are out of time. So we're going to do this tomorrow. I mean, we're not really out of time, but I don't want to start and be partially in, and because isn't it 1:20? Right, but it's like 1:20 right now. Yeah. I don't want to do this today. I want to do this tomorrow. Then maybe give you some homework. We'll see.